Basically, our cloud is a control point for a multiple of smart devices. And primarily how we're providing that service is through an edge server, right? So there's some kind of software agent that runs inside the so-called edge of the network. And that agent detects smart devices. So with a series of plugins, right? So there's a plugin that is designed for example, LifeX, which is a certain kind of smart bulb, and a plugin designed for Philips Hue, and so on and so on and so on. And in this way, it's an extensibility model that lets us add in new device connections by only defining a really small amount of code that understands exactly just how that device communicates over a network. The other way that we connect to things is with a cloud-to-cloud system we call Conduits. And Conduits lets us integrate devices through their own first-party clouds. So, for example, if you have like a Nest thermostat, there's no way to talk to that directly, on the local network anymore. And so we integrate their cloud directly into our cloud. Actually, that service provides quite a bit of moving parts. We're not only providing, real-time connections to those third-party clouds, but we're handling all of the user OAuth lifecycle as well. Our API understands the notion of your end user. And so you've gone and made one API call that says, I have a user that I call A, and I would like to add a Nest thermostat for user A. And we say, okay, here's a special link just for user A, just to add a Nest thermostat. Hand that to the user and send them to it. And then they'll route to Nest's OAuth page, and they'll log in. And once they've done that, we're now connected to their backend, and we know exactly what their thermostats are, and we can associate it with that user and put it in the right security containers. And you don't have to do anything, right? Once all that's done, you'll just see a Nest thermostat show up, and now you can send commands to it. It's now seamlessly integrated with the same backend API that you were using to control the devices through the hub. And also, it's unified through a similar interface to any other kind of thermostat that we integrate. So we're implementing a Nest thermostat, we're implementing Ecobee thermostat, we have a Venstar thermostat, and those will all have the same exact software API interface, or very, very similar, right? We provide a unified interface and then also some access to any of the platform-specific functionality of that device. So there's a lot of legwork being done inside of our cloud to kind of route the right information to the right device, to translate between different protocols or non-standards or standards, and then also provide the right security containers to organize all the devices in a way that you can build, the sort of user-facing application on top of it. And then in addition to that core functionality, we also provide an API we call a metadata API, which lets you apply any custom information you want to any of these things in our platform as well. So that basically lets you create a little bit of rich user interface on top of these devices, right? Instead of it just being all utilitarian data, where it's just the core functionality we need to operate the device, you can put custom data on it as well that lets you render your user interface from the data that's associated with these devices in the back end. So there's quite a bit of power and flexibility there. And our goal isn't to totally eliminate the need to run some other database, but to dramatically reduce the number of round trips that you have to make from the front end to the back end, so that we can provide as much of the information as you might need to render a screen, for example, on your user interface without having to go to another web service somewhere else and do kind of a tango between two web services.